My name is Everett Albury. I was born in Key West, and I've lived in Tavernier all of my life. And relative to the 1935 hurricane, the house that we were in floated across the foundation up against the railroad track. Fortunately, my mother was hurt, but not seriously. And just prior to the hurricane, we went down to Alma, and the car drowned it out, and my dad got it started, and we came back to Tavernier. And fortunately, again, we were in Tavernier instead of being in Alma. They knew we were going to get some bad weather, but they had no idea it was going to be as bad as it was, more especially the water rising and floating all the houses off of the foundations. The house that we were in was some of my dad's family, and there was two couples. There was 3 in my dad's family and 4 in the other couple's family. And as the house floated off of the foundation, it floated, and it had about a foot or so of water on the floor. And all of a sudden, the front door blew open, and they got it closed, and then they opened the windows, wooden shutters on the lee side of the house, and they would take a broom handle and stick it out into the water to see how deep the water was, because they didn't have any idea whether we were out in Florida Bay or where it was. And then all of a sudden we came to a complete stop, and we had floated up against the railroad track. And that's about the end of it, really. And the water receded down, and that was then the sun rose about 3 hours later, I'd say.
My Uncle Russell had built a new house, and it was midway the island, so we figured it would be, better to be there than be out on the beach so close to the ocean. The shutters kept blowing out. So they decided we would get out of the house and get in lee of the cistern. So we were all lined up at the back door to go out. We were following my daddy out. I know they didn't realize the water was up. And the house just blew apart. I don't know whether a tornado hit the house or whether the water, I don't know what it was. The house just went completely, it just flew apart. And we was all thrown out in the water. All of us.
And then what happened?
Well, everybody, I don't know what happened to other people.
Okay.
I was with Uncle Fred up on some debris, and he held on to me for a while, but he got to where he couldn't fight, so he pushed me up on more debris and told me to try to fight for myself. And I found my mother and sister, and I was with them the rest of the night. When the water went down, Mother got trapped under a side of a house, and she couldn't move. She was face up. My sister sat for hours holding a coat over her face to keep her. She'd have drowned if it hadn't been for that with the rain. Because everybody that kept their back to the rain, the ears had scabs on it. Peeled the skin off. The rain was so bad. Everybody had scabs on their ears from the rain beating on them, because they stayed back to the weather. They had to. But they got her out, and we went. They took us on a bus. It was a bus in back of the Matticumby Hotel, and that's where we stayed until help came on Wednesday. And I believe we were the first ones that left here on Wednesday morning. Daddy knew the man that came from Key West. John West came here, and they took us up to Snake Creek because it was all, the bridges were out. Well, there wasn't any bridges at Whale Harbor. Everything was just washed out there. They took us up to Snake Creek, and they put an ambulance and took her to Miami. Well, and Aunt Camille and Mother's niece were found under the refrigerator. I don't think Charles was ever found, and I don't know where Mr. Roberts was, no.